Hi everyone, welcome to Enjoy English. I'm Steven.
大家好，我是 Bernice.
Today's date is April 29th, and for the next 2 days, we're going to be looking at pages 54 to 59 under Art.
好的，我们今天一样呢是个2天的课程哦。我们今天要讲的是艺术飨宴。
The art and science of currency.
哦，芊来了，各位，我最爱的话题了。我们要讲到这个货币设计啊，它有一些什么样的美学，还有一些什么样的技术呢？
Right, so currency is a system of money in general used by a country. Okay, and how banknotes reflect the culture of a country.
这确实是相当重要的，讲的就是钞票这玩意儿。OK, banknotes 就是 bills。OK, 这些钞票呢，要怎么样去反映出一个国家的文化呢？
Yes, and in today's lesson, banknotes will use the word notes as well. And as Bernice also mentioned as well, the word bill is used as well.
Yeah.
All right, let's take a short break.
好的。
The Art and Science of Currency. This year marks the 11th anniversary of the Maldives' introduction of the Ran Dihafa note series. The name of the series means Golden 50, which was created to celebrate 50 years of independence from the UK. Maldivians were excited about the release of the Ran Dihafa note series as the country had gone more than 3 decades without a new note series. Beyond the beautiful artwork, the bills are special because they are printed on polymer. Most of the new designs went into circulation in January 2016. They feature artwork representing the culture, environment, and identity of the Maldivian people. Images include whale sharks, conch shells, sailboats, and traditional drums. Some notes also show people engaging in activities like fishing, reciting the Quran, wood carving, and playing football, which is a sport many Maldivians enjoy watching and playing. For an island nation, the polymer notes offer a major advantage. Unlike paper, they do not tear easily when wet. The notes also contain several security features, such as shiny patterns that are visible when tilted, and designs that glow in 2 colors under ultraviolet light. With these unique features, the Ran Dihafa note series has earned praise as one of the world's most beautiful currencies.
This year marks the 11th anniversary of the Maldives' introduction of the Ran Dihafa note series.
什么字啊？听起来就觉得怪怪的。好的，所以今年呢 ，marks 我们知道这个 mark 就是官方上面把它标注为是它的第11周年。好 ，anniversary 我们知道是周年庆的意思。那这个周年庆是哪一个国家呢？讲的是这个马尔地夫。那这个时候马尔地夫他们要推行这样的一个纸钞啦。好，所以这个 introduction 就是你要去做这样的一个推动，所以它的推行他们的这样的一个纸钞的11周年庆，而且它是 note series， 就是它是一系列的纸钞。
So here the verb mark, it can also be indicate, okay? This year indicates the 11th anniversary. That just means that it marks an important event. Also the word for Maldives, some people will pronounce it Maldives. Okay, you hear it in 2 different pronunciations. Okay. The name of the series means Golden 50, which was created to celebrate 50 years of independence from the UK.
所以呢，他用这个名字呢，就是因为它这个名称的意思，所以这个系列的这个纸钞呢，它的这个名称呢，它译为呢 Golden 50，就是 金色50 which 就是指这个金色50这样的一个东西呢，它其实目的呢就是被创造来要来庆祝马尔地夫呢从英国这个地方已经脱离了，好，所以脱离了英国独立的50周年。
So independence means that they're self-governed and they're free from UK rule.
Yes.
And UK is United Kingdom. Maldivians were excited about the release of the Ran di Hafehe note series as the country had gone more than 3 decades without a new note series.
所以呢，马尔地夫人相当的兴奋呐，为什么他们很兴奋呢？因为他下面等一下就会讲到，他们有30多年了，都是一直拿就是之前的旧钞，所以呢，他们相当的兴奋。兴奋于什么呢 ？The release 就是终于发行了他们这一次的这个新的这个纸钞的系列as 就是因为他们这个国家呢，从之前呢到现在，所以 had gone 很久之前就已经超过30年，所以一个 decade 是一个10年，所以你有3个10年，所以30年要加 s 哦，好，所以已经有30年，好，30多年啦都没有发行新的纸钞系列啦。
Actually, like I never really thought about currency in different countries. Like when they go through a change in the series, the note series. Like in the US, I think when I was in high school or middle school, like they kind of changed the way that the old dollar bills looked. They like redid the whole series to look more modernized. And I remember when we first got it, there were a lot of changes. Like it was still the same presidents on each bill, but then you're just looking at it, it just looks so different and bizarre. When it takes some time to get used to those changes.
也是因为你用旧的可能使用了一段时间，你已经 get used to it， 你已经习惯了，所以你突然拿到，虽然说刚才老师讲的纸钞上面的总统还是一样，但是你拿到的时候会觉得这是什么？就是怪怪的那种感觉。
Yeah, but I do remember everybody was really excited to see the new note series when it was released in America. So I can imagine that the Maldivians going 3 decades without a new note series and then finally being able to see it. It must have been, the same kind of feeling that we had back then. Beyond the beautiful artwork, the bills are special because they are printed on polymer.
Beyond something 的意思就是除了超越的意思嘛，所以表示除了呢，你拿到它的这个新的系列的这个纸钞的时候呢，你会看到上面有 beautiful artwork， 有非常精美的这些图案之外呢，这个纸钞呢，所以你看 bills 就出现了，这些钞票呢也相当的特殊哦。它为什么特殊呢？就是因为他们在印制，所以他们被印制，印在什么地方呢 ？Polymer 这个东西呢是指聚合物。什么是聚合物呢？就是比较有一些弹性啊，比较薄啊，类似像塑胶类的这些东西。
So here the sentence started with beyond the beautiful artwork. In English, they also say you can use things like aside from the beautiful artwork or other than the beautiful artwork. These are all options. But when I see beyond the beautiful artwork, I naturally think that it's saying aside from this, like what is more important or what is more special is the bills or the notes or the banknotes are special because they are printed on polymer. And polymer is a strong man-made material, and it feels like plastic or rubber. Okay, so man-made, what does that mean?
就人造的。
人造的。All right, so let's take a short break.
好的。
Most of the new designs went into circulation in January 2016.
好的，虽然呢，他已经把这个新的纸钞这个系列已经设计好了，可是大部分呢，这些新版的设计呢，它会在2016年这个时候1月那个时候才开始做这个怎么样呢 ？circulation 流通，所以 go into circulation 就是说，你真正官方上正式让你可以开始使用这样的一个新的设计的纸钞来做买卖这样的一个作用，所以那个时候。2016年1月才开始使用的。
Yeah, and it's kind of maybe it's hard to imagine what go into circulation means at first. But it's just basically saying most of the new designs were released and used by everyone in January 2016. And it's just using like a less wordy way to say that. So go into circulation. So circle. CIRCLE 就是一个circle, 一个圈嘛, right?
对，圈圈。
So it's kind of like, when you give money out, eventually the money in different forms will come back to you, right? So it's being used in circulation. So you can
Yes.
think of it that way to help you imagine, because this will show up later in the lessons.
Okay.
So that's just something we say when we release something and it's distributed amongst the public and used widely. It's into circulation or in circulation. They featured artwork representing the culture, environment, and identity of the Maldivian people.
好的，那到底这些新设计呢？它代表的哪一些的这些意思啊？因为我们刚刚讲了嘛，它是要反映这个国家的文化咯，所以他就讲了，它的这些新设计呢 ，featured 这边当动词，就是它有这样的一些特色。它的特色呢，当然就是上面有一些所谓的这些 artwork。好，那这些 artwork 所代表的意思呢 ，representing， 所以就是 which represent， 它代表的意思就是第一个，它这个国家马尔地夫人的这个文化。还有呢，他们的环境，以及呢 ，identity 就是他们自己国家这个人的身份的一种认同。
Images include whale sharks, conch shells, sailboats, and traditional drums.
所以上面的这些图案呢，第一个有包含金沙，第二个呢叫做海螺壳，都跟海洋有关、跟海滩有关的一些东西。再来呢 ，sailboats 就是帆船，以及他们传统的鼓啊，这些图案都在上面。
So a whale shark, is it a whale or a shark?
Shark.
It's a shark. Why? Because you usually look at the word that's the last word,
Yes.
okay, to see if it's actually a whale or a shark. Okay, so it's a shark. And a conch shell is a large spiral ornamental shell that usually belongs to a medium to large sea snail.
就是你会看到这样子旋转、螺旋状的。
Yeah,
对
conch shell. Some notes also show people engaging in activities like fishing, reciting the Quran, wood carving, and playing football, which is a sport many Maldivians enjoy watching and playing. Wow, this is a long sentence.
真的，所以非常长的一个句子了哈。所以呢，接下来他就讲，一开始前面他有讲有一些什么金沙啦，这些比较跟他们的这个些传统的一些活动有关的。然后接下来他就说，还有一些纸钞上面呢，也显现出呢，人们在怎么样呢 engaging in。其实这个 engage in 的意思就是有点类似 participate in，你去参加的一些活动。那哪一些活动是他们马尔地夫人常常参加的一些活动呢？第一个就是 fishing， 他们喜欢捕鱼啦。还有呢，他们喜欢 reciting。我们知道 recite 这个字就是有点朗诵、诵读出来他们的这个古兰经嘛。我们知道他们这是伊斯兰教的一个经典，所以他们喜欢诵读的这样经典的一个活动。还有呢，他们喜欢做木雕。另外一个呢就是 football， 他们喜欢踢足球，而足球呢 which， 所以一样你前面要加一个逗号。这个足球呢是当地马尔地夫人呢最喜欢观看以及参与的运动。
All right, so I want to unpack some things, okay? Here, like Bernice Haas is so engaging in, you could say participating in these activities. My personal preference or the way I see it is when you engage in something, like, because a lot of our students are like, engage 不是订婚吗? Right? When you are engaging in an activity, you are participating, yes, but I feel like there's more of an element of like you care about it. Like
你很在意它。
or 很投入. Okay, so that's what I think is the difference between engage in something and participate in something. Participate, it can just be 你参与, but it doesn't mean you have an emotional
对，你
connection.
不一定很想要去
Yeah.
去做这个事情。
You're just doing it, right?
对。
I mean, that's just my personal way of looking at it, okay? And then when you recite the Quran, the religious text of Islam, it's also seen spelled as Koran, but make sure you capitalize the K because it is the name of the religious text of Islam, okay? Also here, because a lot of times we tell our students, don't make this sentence too long because we're afraid that they might, make the sentence a run-on sentence or one with incorrect grammar. But here, the grammar is perfectly fine. It's really well written. And a lot of people might say, then why don't I just do a separate sentence for the last part? Like, football is a sport many Maldivians enjoy watching and playing. Yes, grammatically, that would make sense, right? You're giving more information in a separate sentence. But what that does, though, is it causes the listener or the reader to think that now we're going to talk about football. Now we're going to talk about a different subject. This is just additional information that we're trying not to let us lose track of the actual thing that we're talking about, which is these notes. Okay, so that's why we're choosing to make it like an additional information to the main sentence.
没错，所以老师的意思就是说，这个句子为什么把它制造的这么长？我们也可以把它就是中间中断。那可是呢，如果在 football 这个地方中断，感觉像要让读者会觉得说，哦，是不是接下来你们要来开始讨论 football？ 可是其实不是，我们只是讲说，哦，这些纸钞上面有这么多的图案，还有一些这样的一些活动，而足球也是他们最喜欢观赏跟从事的一种活动，所以我们是在补充说明这个足球，而并非把足球变成下一个阶段的焦点。
Exactly. In football, from an American viewpoint, I'm thinking American football. Yeah, but I think football here is actually what we would call soccer.
对，他们叫 soccer.
Only America does it differently. Like sometimes I don't know why we do that. But okay, let's take a short break.
好的。
For an island nation, the polymer notes offer a major advantage.
接下来就说呢，对于像马尔地夫他们是一个岛国来说，如果他们用这种塑胶的这样的钞票呢，可以提供出一种 major advantage， 就是对于他们来说有一个非常 major 主要明显的一个优点。
or 很大的一个优点, right? Major 也可以有这个意思. And offer, you could also use the verb provide. Okay, they provide a major advantage. The opposite of advantage is disadvantage.
好长的一个字。
Yeah, 前面加 dis 就可以了。Unlike paper, they do not tear easily when wet.
大家有听到这个字的发音？说老师，这不是流眼泪吗？干嘛我拿纸钞干嘛要流泪？哦，如果很多的话就要流泪。哦，我怎么有这么多钱？好，就激动的流泪。但这边不是流泪的意思，所以老师刚刚有念，他要念成 tear。OK，unlike 就是不像是 ，OK， 记得它也是一个介系词，所以你后面要接的是名词或 ing。Paper 就是一般的那种纸张所做的那种纸币，所以它跟纸张做的这个纸币不一样的地方是说什么呢 ？They 当然就指刚才讲的 polymer notes 这些所谓的塑胶钞票呢，其实呢，他们如果湿了，就是你不小心喷到湿了，或者像有时候 Brains 老师不小心把它放在我的裤子口袋，然后就丢到 washing machine 里面，咕噜咕噜。好，那这时候他们就比较不容易因为遇水而撕破了。
Yeah, so they do not tear easily. Doesn't mean that they don't tear at all, right? So it's just not 没有不会那么简单的。
对。
Also here, you made a really good point when it comes to 眼泪. We say tear, like ear, tear, right? But if it is talking like about the verb to 撕破, it's tear. And even in noun form, if we're talking about a tear on the page.
也是名词，也是一样，还是也是念 tear.
Basically, it's only pronounced tear when it's 眼泪.
对。
Okay? Even for a verb, she tears up every time she listens to music. When it has to do with 眼泪, it's tear.
Yeah.
When it has to do with 撕破, it's tear.
Yes.
But it's spelled the same. Confusing? Yes. So it's just something you have to memorize. Even for me, when I was reading this, I almost said tear. But then because I was looking, okay, I was thinking paper doesn't tear. So that's why I took a pause, but I read tear instead. It's kind of something that the more you get used to it, then you'll kind of, you'll have the habit of knowing which one to read.
Yes.
The notes also contain several security features, such as shiny patterns that are visible when tilted and designs that glow in 2 colors under ultraviolet light.
好的，又是一个很长的这个句子啦。他说这些钞票呢，也同时包含了几种怎么样的 security。你当然钞票要防止有 fake money 啊，对不对？有假钞的出现，所以你不得不有很多种的防卫的一些特征，你就不可能只有一个。你要很多个，然后让这个收到的店家可以去辨识说，哦，怎么样才是真的钞票。比如说他下面就举例啦， Such as 第一个，你会有 shining patterns 就是一些图案，就是一些重复的图案，然后会亮亮的。那通常呢 that are visible， 它们是可以看得见的。怎么样看见呢？你要 tilt， 就是你要把那个钞票稍微的这样子倾斜来倾斜，这样正面可能看得不是很清楚，就是你要把它用不同的角度去看了。而且呢，它的设计是说呢，如果你在这个 ultraviolet， 就是紫外线，就是可能你在外面不一定要开灯，你如果是外面有出太阳，太阳大白天的时候，你也可以走到外面，利用紫外线的光。那这时候呢，你的这个纸钞上面就会 glow， 就会发光，而且还会发出2种不同的颜色。
And ultraviolet light, a lot of times we will shorten that to UV light.
对。
Okay. And here I want to ask a question, Bernice 老师, because in the previous sentence, when we're giving additional information about football, we use which.
Yes.
But in this sentence, we're using that.
没错。
So why sometimes we can use which and why sometimes that?
确实 that 跟 which 如果在用冠代的时候，它其实是可以互相替代的。可是如果你今天代替的是一整个句子，或者你讲的是一个专有名词的时候，因为有逗点，所以你这时候只能用 which。这个句子因为它没有逗点啊，所以你用 that 是 OK 的。
And then another thing I've heard is which is giving additional information that if you take it out, it doesn't really affect the meaning of the sentence.
没错。
But then that is including information that is really important to the sentence. So that is a good way to differentiate the use between which and that.
对，没
Okay?
错。
With these unique features, the Ron DiHavaha Note series has earned praise as one of the world's most beautiful currencies.
哇，最漂亮的钱钱哦，好，就出现在马尔地夫了。所以 with 就是有着，因为呢，刚才我们上面介绍它有这些所谓的 unique 相当独一无二的这些的特征呢，所以它这一次的新的系列的这个纸钞呢，就被人家怎么样呢 has earned 已经赢得了。得到了这样的一种赞美，就是大家称赞他说：“哇，你是全世界最美丽的货币之一哦。”
So has earned praise means has gotten compliments or words of agreement or words just to say, wow, good job. Wow, they're so beautiful. Has earned praise. So for tomorrow's lesson, we're going to continue talking about currency. So we hope to see you then.
OK， 拜拜。